Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Financially Forever After, a love and money podcast. We are your hosts, Lindsay and
Brett the Money Maker, Schunkweiler.
Oh, yes, and we are here to give you some love, relationship, and some financial tips from that financial guru over there. So the holidays are upon us, and so 'tis the season for stress and anxiety.
Is that why you're naughty by nature over there? Is that why it has naughty by nature on that t-shirt?
As if for those of you that cannot see my t-shirt today, it is naughty with a K. It's got a
little like
Christmas tree on it. It's a little play on words, but the topic today on the relationship side is a little bit heavy, so I thought I'd lighten up the mood just a little bit with some comical relief with my t-shirts. So you might see that in future episodes too. I do like my t-shirts with the play on words.
Yep, truth.
Those might make future appearances, but because the holiday season is upon us, I wanted to talk about, we just got through Thanksgiving, what was it, last week?
Yep.
And so I did some traveling.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. So anyway, did some traveling. We were with your family, went to Colorado.
Yep.
We went to Colorado.
Road trip.
Yeah, and actually we're starting to get some responses. People are emailing in, people are asking questions, and they're asking various different date night questions, like what to do, things of that nature. But I got a question for you guys, and I'd like you to respond to us. What has been the number one thing that you have tried to do, or the most embarrassing thing, I should say, you have tried to do in the dark where you have failed epically? Because that's where the story starts. So we were in a hotel room in Colorado, right? And it was about 3:00 in the morning. I just couldn't sleep. And I was, and Lindsay was in there, the kids were in there, and I didn't want to wake people up in a hotel room type quarters. So I'm like, you know what? I got work to do. I'm just going to go downstairs. I'll get my work done. So I got multiple pairs of jeans. Lindsay's got multiple pairs of jeans, and I go to put my jeans on to head downstairs. And I try to button them up, and they won't even come close. I'm like, what is happening here? Lo and behold, not my jeans.
Whose jeans were they?
They were yours. They were your jeans.
Try to go with my skinny jeans. How far did you actually get them up your legs is the question.
I got them up decently far. I had to pull. I'm like, why are they so tight today? I'm like, man, like, this Thanksgiving food is really getting to me.
You hadn't even eaten Thanksgiving meal yet. You're like, oh, pre-weight.
I'm just thinking about this food getting bigger. Jeez.
I would have died if you actually made it down there in those jeans. Actually, no, I would have been actually upset because my skinny jeans probably would no longer be skinny because you would have like loosened them up. So that's a pretty good story.
It would have been like Joey from Friends.
Did you find
his Thanksgiving pants? So that's how they would have looked when I was done with them.
Did you finally then figure it out that like, hey, these are not my pants? Clearly,
like I need my dang phone to turn my flashlight on. I didn't have it to turn my dang flashlight on, so I couldn't see. I didn't want to wake you guys up.
That's a pretty good one. So yeah, things you do in the dark.
Yeah, what do you do in the dark that you have failed or tried to do in the dark?
Yeah. And now that people might be traveling for the holidays, people might be visiting family and road trips are going on. So yeah, you just would write in with your crazy holiday stories. We'd love to hear them, address them on the podcast. But so yeah, let's get into our topic today for on the relationship side. So it is a little bit more heavy, but I know a lot of people are experiencing this time of year. So the topic today is dealing with grief during the holidays. So maybe it's your first holiday without your loved one. Maybe it's, been a few years and you're still experiencing the holidays are just rough, that person is clearly missing from our lives. And so, yeah, it can be really challenging. And I know from your experience, obviously, you have lost your mom. It's going on 3 years on January 1st. So I wanted to talk to you about just some of the ways you would recommend coping during this time of year. What got you through that first holiday after your mom had passed?
I'd say other family, other brothers, sisters, doing some of the the rituals that we used to do, with my mom. Obviously, you knew her quite well, before she passed. But I would say for people that are struggling with this, or this is their first time. I know the first year of doing everything without her was the toughest year. And, that was my mom. Some people have a child that they have to deal with that. Some
Or
people
spouse.
have a spouse that they have to deal
And
with
they
that.
always say the first are always the hardest, obviously.
Yeah, and I believe that to be true. I mean, it's absolutely, does it get easier? A little bit, but, I still, sometimes even if it's like a Hallmark movie and it's like, oh, guess what? The mom passed away. Or, what, Family Stone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Christmas movie we always watch together, or used to watch together all the time. Family Stone. I can't even watch that.
Yeah.
That just gets to
It's
me.
rough.
Where the mom has cancer and passes away. That's
Yeah.
exactly how, my mom passed away. So, I would just try to do some of the ritual things that you always used to do, with your loved ones. Now you might say, all right, well, I used to do it with my husband, or I used to do it with myself. I don't have that person. Yeah. Could you get together with a friend or a family member and say, hey, you know what, why we can't do some of the things in the past, can we go out that day, or maybe just go to lunch and have a lunch together, have some type of conversation, or maybe bring up some past fun memories that you had.
Yeah.
Like my mom used to play ping pong.
Yeah.
And we created a game called Ultimate Ping Pong Extreme. So we just can't do anything like just the normal level. We got to go another level up.
Oh, yeah.
We always love brackets and like double elimination.
Yeah.
You got to have
That was my first introduction into your family, is like how my family is game people. Your family is game people. Like
Game
brackets. Like I was like, what in the world am I getting and competitive? You guys are so competitive.
Oh, yeah.
So that was my first introduction. And the thing is, like, your mom was an artist. So like Pictionary with her, like it was girls versus boys. And we were always like winning because we had your mom, and she was so intricate with her like detail. And we're like, this is amazing.
Coming from an art teacher, she was.
And then she produced a son who, the only way you can tell it's what animal it is, it's based on the tail.
Absolutely.
So the dog, it's the tail's up. But cats' tails are up too. How do you differentiate between them?
The creature drawing for me, it's just like a round oval.
Yeah.
And then little head, and then you got to look at the ears and the tail. That's what it's all
Clearly
about. Otherwise, they all look the same.
Artistic genes skipped a generation.
Yeah, well, I got my two other brothers. They're decent artists.
True.
Me, I got zero skills with that.
Yep, true. Okay, what else would you offer tip-wise during this holiday season?
We decided for her specifically that we were not going to and I kind of look at the day that she passed, and we wanted to celebrate her life that she had with us. So her birthday was April 25th. So we get together, and this, every April 25th we get together and have brothers and sister over, and we play the Ultimate Ping Pong Extreme. And Extreme, by the way, just so you know, you're hitting two ping pong balls at the same time, going back and forth. So there's always 2 points scored. So it's a lot of fun. If you want to know how to do it, email in or text in or whatever it is, and we can give you some notes on how to do that. But big picture, we wanted to celebrate that day, her actual birthday, rather than the day that she passed.
Celebrate her life.
Yeah, because she passed away January 1st, and that's New Year. So, a lot of people are like, all right, well, let's celebrate the New Year. I'm like, I don't want to celebrate the New Year. My mom died that day. Like, that's a terrible day for me. Terrible day for my brothers and sisters. So we elect to celebrate 25th of April.
Yep.
Celebrate her life while she was around.
You brought up a good point with that, too. Some people feel like it's the first Christmas without their loved one, or Hanukkah or whatever holiday you choose to celebrate. They might opt out that year for the holiday. Maybe they don't want to celebrate it. And I think that's okay too. It's like, if you're not feeling in the mood for that, I think that's okay. I think it's okay to take a year off and kind of reflect. And, sometimes getting into the holiday spirit can be difficult when you feel that loss. So, I don't think there's any shame of taking the year off from holidays if that's just not for you.
I actually heard a commercial the other day, and usually commercials like, boring. Like, okay, let's get by this to get to the actual show. But it was a really cool commercial. So the commercial, it talked about, like, it was a mom calling the daughter up and like, oh, you want to come home? They're like, no, I actually got someone to share it with for the holidays or whatnot. She's like, oh, well, good luck. I hope it goes well. And then right after he hears the daughter saying, all right, come on in. It's like a family that wasn't doing very well. And she welcomed a family in and say, hey, I know my house isn't really big, but come on in and, I got some gifts for you and come enjoy a nice meal. So it was kind of like, hey, giving back at the same point in time, spending time with, some people in the community that really needed it. So, maybe that's you. Maybe like, no, first year I'm out, or maybe get around with friends, family members. There's so many different ways to do it. There's no one right way.
Yeah.
But
and everybody grieves differently.
Everybody grieves differently and at different paces, right? It might be 2, 3, 5 years.
Yeah, because they always say there's steps of grief, but you might not necessarily go in the order of the steps of grief. You might bounce around or...
Yep.
Yeah. So I actually Googled this too. This is all coming from Choosing Therapy, and you've touched on a lot of these, but one of the things that they had mentioned was to feel your feelings. Like don't try to push the grief away, but embrace the grief, because it's going to be there regardless. So you just as well go through that process, because it's not going to go away. And you mentioned that it gets easier. I've heard something somewhere that it never gets easier, but you learn to live with it.
Correct. I would agree with that. Yeah. I mean, there'll still be times I like silently cry or whatnot where, people don't know, have no idea, but it's just, I get to thinking of her like a lot of times church songs.
Yeah.
When we're at church. I mean, she was very religious and, that'll get me sometimes and my eyes will just start watering and whatever. It is what it is, but I just go with it and it's fine.
Yeah. And that's okay to feel that way. Now on the flip side, what would you recommend for those going through this right now, for the spouse or their partner, how to help them through the grief? Like, what were some of the things that maybe I did that you appreciated or wished I would have done, or, how can their partner help them through this process?
I remember, when we were just kind of starting up with the current church that we're at right now, one of the pastors said, something I thought that was very, very important. And what he said is, there's no magic thing that you can say to make that person like feel so much better. It's like, oh, well, if you're God believing and you're like, all right, well, maybe, God needed this person, up with him, rather than on earth more, or, there's so many different ways to say that or spin that.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you appreciate people saying that?
I mean,
Some people don't.
I know that they're just trying to be helpful, but at the end of the day, is like there is nothing that anybody can say or anybody can do to bring that person back.
Right.
Like that, for me, I'm a very much realist, and this, and my brain thinks logically. But obviously there's a lot of emotion that comes into play as well. But there's nothing that can really be said or done to make that person feel exponentially better. Like they're going to feel what they feel.
Right.
But also, they said, just be there. It's just about being there. It's just about showing up. It's about, hey, you can just sit in the room with somebody and, just be there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So what would you recommend then, again, for the partner, like to just sit there? And here's what I struggled with. And I think you as a fixer would probably as well. Not only being present, but watching someone grieve, it can make you feel powerless. Like there's nothing I can do to take away your pain. There's nothing I can do to make things better. But just being there for you or for your partner. So, just being able to say, hey, I can't fix this, but I'm just going to be here with you.
Yep. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I just give them a hug, be there, and you can ask, is there anything I could do or grab? Which there's not. Like the answer is pretty much no all the time. But, you just sit with you, be there and support them, maybe rub their back, something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But, give them a hug.
Yeah. And just listen to their feelings probably. Some people want to talk, some people don't, and that's okay. You didn't take advantage of this, and some of the times I wished you would, but again, we grieve differently. So some people might need a support system. You had it through your siblings, but some people might need to seek out like a grief support system, maybe some counseling. So whatever you need to do for your own benefit to get you through that time, seeking out friends, seeking out family, whatever you need for support. Everybody's different. So during this holiday season, just know that you're not alone, and there are others out there that are feeling the same way that you are. And you just got to do what you got to do to get through this holiday time. So Thanks for sharing. I know that was hard for you.
Yep.
So let's take it to the financial side now and talk about finances during the holiday season.
Finances during the holidays. So we're going to lighten it up a little bit here. Okay, that was a
Oh,
little
thank
heavy.
goodness, yes.
Yeah, woo. Okay.
But not everything in life is light.
Yeah, that's very true. So, okay, so holiday season, Christmas is almost here, and we have to think. Well, I wanted to do a couple things. I want to do like, all right, well, what do normal people typically ask for, or get, or want? And then what is at the top of some of the celebrities out there? What's on the top of their wish list?
Celebrities have wish lists.
Yeah, I guess so. So
They don't have massive money that they can just get all these free things anyway.
okay, so here we go. Kylie Jenner. At the top of her list is a giant factory dedicated to producing her highly coveted lip kit, which sold out minutes after its release in November. And she promised more kits would be on their way by Christmas time.
So the factory is
She
on
wants
her...
a factory. She wants
Okay.
a whole dang
I
factory.
mean, but in her defense, that does make sense. It's for production.
For her
It's not
business.
just for like no good reason.
I just want a multi-million-dollar factory.
Yeah,
Can you
which
just like whip that up
she's-
for me?
She's on that list of like, she's up there.
Oh, she's got some money.
She got some buco bucks. I think she's the most profitable Kardashian. I think she's
Probably.
above Kim even.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, then we got Harry Styles. What do you think Harry would want?
Harry Styles from One Direction. Oh my gosh. Something like hair products probably. He has that luxurious hair. Is it?
Harry Styles, a remote cabin in the woods
Oh.
somewhere. After
Oh.
5 years of recording sessions, world tours, and screaming fans, he just
I don't
wants
blame the man.
he wants to have his zen.
That sounds
He
amazing.
just wants to chill.
I can relate to the, I mean, I can't relate to the mass fans and screaming girls, but I can relate to the cabin in the woods. I would totally go for that.
Okay, so now we got Kim. We're gonna go with another Kardashian.
Okay.
Okay. Well, she was a Jenner. So it's
No.
Kylie Jenner,
No,
right?
Kylie was a Jenner, but
Oh, see?
her mom is a Kardashian.
Yeah. Yeah.
So her dad was Bruce Jenner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kim Kardashian, what do you think she wants?
Oh my gosh. The woman, a restraining order from Kanye West. Is that accurate?
Nope, no, that's not
Oh,
correct.
okay.
She says a custom, I'm going to say this wrong, Balmain stroller?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Balmain
Wait,
diaper.
why does
Is
she
that right?
need that? This is Kim?
This is Kim.
Is this in this year's list?
I thought so.
I don't think so. She don't have any more babies. I think her
Oh, wow.
youngest is a little older.
Anyway, how much do you think like a custom stroller would be?
Probably like $10,000.
That's-
Ridiculous.
It's about two.
Okay.
$2,000 for a custom
Honestly,
stroller.
I would have thought it would have been higher because I thought it would have had like diamond encrusted everything.
Okay. All right. So now those are the ones that celebs like kind of more expensive stuff. Obviously the stroller's not, that, I mean,
But still,
Still, you don't
why do you
spend
need that?
yeah.
Like ours was like $200.
I remember one of those like cloth ones that like folded up. We had
Those umbrella stores.
Yeah,
You get
umbrellas.
them at like Walmart for like $10.
yeah, super cheap. Like it still serves the same purpose and it folds up
They're
nice if you're going on a
lightweight.
trip.
Yeah,
Like a
those
quick
were
little
great.
trip. Like
Mhm.
obviously not a big heavy duty
Yeah.
trip. Okay, so Jimmy Fallon. What do you think Jimmy Fallon wants?
Gosh, Jimmy Fallon. I wouldn't even, I don't have the slightest.
Okay, he says he wants a helmet.
I love Jimmy. A helmet for
He
what?
says, or perhaps an entire body's worth of protective gear.
Why?
Given late night host knack of injuring himself.
Oh,
He
he
fell,
like,
he hurt his hand.
oh my gosh, it sounds like you. You need that.
Why? Because I got a black eye playing
And
basketball.
on the trip, what did you do
and
on
I
the trip?
rolled my ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our daughter's accident prone too. And I feel like I need to bubble wrap you guys
It's
constantly.
fun.
I like Jimmy's sense of humor, and that's practical.
That's practical.
You
So
can easily get Jimmy a
cheap
a helmet.
stuff. Bieber wanted a copy of the book Eat, Pray, Love.
Okay, that's an old list because that thing has been out a while.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? These are still things they wanted.
Yes.
And then
I mean, that's practical too. Good job, Biebs.
good job,
That's
Biebs.
something a normal person can afford to give you.
Okay. And then Jennifer Lawrence. My last one here is she wanted a scrapbook. She wanted real
Like
photos.
someone wanted to do it. Like she wanted someone to do it for her.
Yeah, she.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm on board with that. I hate
Scrapbook, like,
scrapbook.
putting the mementos in there. She's
Yes.
like, I just want to remember the memories, but I want to do it.
I don't want to do it either.
Yeah.
I agree. You know, your mom was really good at scrapbooking. I'm like, that's one thing I appreciated her scrapbooking abilities. I lack that immensely.
So these are all things that people want, but these are all things that obviously they cost money.
Yes.
Right? So we've talked before, and we feel that our value that we tried to bring to the kids is, remember experiences. Like, for instance, my mom, when she passed, I want to remember all the fun experiences and things the gifts that she gave me. I remember like one or two of the gifts she has given me, but big picture, it's the trips, the fun things, the memories, the escape rooms that she would try to create for the kids. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how would you do that? How you know how to do that? She's like, I spend a day or two like creating a day or two. You know how long it'd take me to do, like, insane amount of times. So we like to say, hey, well, what would we want to give our kids or give our family? It's a lot of times like, hey, let's take a family vacation, or let's go somewhere. Let's have some type of memory or do a date. And I have gone more to that. Instead of giving an actual gift, I will give a little like knick-knack type of things. But, I've done, what did we go to Pink, right?
Yeah, concerts.
We went to concerts. We'll go to concerts. We'll take little trips, places. So that all costs money too.
Right.
So if you're thinking, all right, well, maybe I want to have an experience for this next Christmas or this next time I give a gift, that costs money. So if you're like, all right, well, I'm going to give a little gift that's, $25 or $50 or $100, okay, that's fine. And you might have the cash on hand to do that. But if you are trying to create some type of experience, that might cost a chunk more. So you might say, hey, I might need to save, $200 a month, $300, $400 a month, thinking of what value do you want to bring to you and your loved ones. And if it is in trying to create that trip, you have to kind of bring the budget back in. And when you bring that budget back into play, it's like, how could I create an extra $200, $300, $400, $500 a month? And where am I overspending? Am I, going out to coffee 5 times a week? And could I go out 2 times instead of 5 and take that money and have that say,
So what if you have a spouse that's like an overspender? We've talked about spenders before, that they feel like, oh, I want to go above and beyond for the kids this year. And the other one's like, no. Like, we're going to do this trip. You're not spending all this money in addition to that. How do you as a financial advisor suggest couples to get through that, that little hurdle?
You got to have a conversation, because otherwise if one spends and the other one doesn't spend, and then it becomes a fight. Yeah. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen come January, usually when all the bills come
credit
due,
card
and the credit card bill, like, what the heck was this? And then you freak out, or people will just put it on like, I want to have this fantastic Christmas. I want to have everybody get all these presents. And great, they remember it, and what do? They open it up, and some of the small kids, they'll play with the boxes more than what they'll play with the actual gifts.
And we kind of got away. We used to do the aunts and uncles bought and the grandparents bought. It just got to be so much. So we kind of nixed that, which has helped. But things add up. You think about all the gifts you have to get, like your teachers and your, activity, their coaches and your dance teacher, like everybody that you have to buy for. So would you recommend sitting down together as a couple and going through itemizing things out, like, hey, we got to get a $20 gift card here? I mean, then you can kind of get an itemized total and say, we're comfortable spending this amount on, extra people, this amount on our children, where it's more visual, where it's like, we know this is what we're going to be spending. And second question, would you recommend people doing cash? Because I know my mom likes to pay in cash, so she knows that if I don't have it, I can't buy it.
That'd be very good. Yeah. Throughout the course of the year, I mean, there's different ways to do it, but you could say, hey, I have envelopes and I'm going to put money in these envelopes. And, for instance, we're going to have date nights every month and we're going to put $400 in there. And then once that $400 spent, like, all right, it's done. Like, we need to do date nights from home or do something else there, but you could use that cash for that. The same can be true for Christmas presents. Like,
and maybe you don't have $400 right off the bat. Maybe it's just like $1 or $2 here or there. You start to like get some more money in that envelope. Maybe you can't afford to do $400 right off the bat.
Everybody's amount is different. Yeah. Just give them an arbitrary number.
Or they can create a swear jar where it's like you can put money in the swear jar and eventually, you get enough to go on a date. Maybe.
Yeah. So you remember Ted Lasso? Yeah. Right? Remember, it's like, be a goldfish.
Goldfish, yeah.
Be a goldfish. So I was having a rough week. It was probably, oh my gosh, 6 months or so ago. So Rachel, she brought me a little something, said, be a goldfish.
That's our employee.
Yeah. She said, be a goldfish. Ted Lasso, be a goldfish. So we had this another thing that we did, and we had like a roll full of pennies. So I'm like, you know what? Every time that I swear, I'm going to put a penny.
There you go. How many pennies do you
in
have
the jar? I owe a few.
enough to buy me a coffee? Have you?
Well, I was like, every penny equates to like $5 is what I was thinking, like $5-10. I'm like, okay, I probably should buy lunch for the staff
Right.
here.
So it might take you a while
something to work on.
Start getting that envelope full of money, but that's some
I'm
good
getting better, but I'm getting better.
good information. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on another episode of Financially Forever After, a Love and Money podcast. If you have those burning questions, that one was one of them, a Christmas budgeting question that someone had wrote in about. But if you have questions regarding finances or love relationship questions, where can they ask those questions, Brett?
Go to Financially Forever with the 4, and they're the number 4, everafter.com. Also, don't forget to leave a comment letting us know what was the one thing you tried to do in the dark.
Oh, yeah.
Or what thing have you done in the dark?
Yeah.
Maybe successful. Maybe you had like something super successful
maybe
you did.
were
Or what did you
way above what
did you
Brett was able to
epically
do.
fail at? And like me, put your wife's jeans on or attempt to.
Yeah. And you can also post pictures, because who doesn't want to see that? We don't have pictures of that, but we just have your story. So
God.
You can also follow us on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, Instagram, Facebook, and we're also on Spotify and Apple. So wherever you stream your podcasts, look for us on future episodes. Thanks for joining us today.